Welcome to Advancement Insight, and today we're going to continue our discussion with getting things done for success. We've already covered capture, and we're going to continue on through the steps and discuss process. So, processing all these items that you've already written down, right? You went through, you wrote down every little thought that you possibly had of something that you needed to get done, whether again it was on paper, in an email, on a calendar, some sort of list, all of the above. Doesn't matter. Just get it written out, hopefully all together in one medium, one form. All right. Your next part is to go through every one of those items. Yes, it's the fun part. What you're going to do is you're going to have to make a decision whether it's going to be to delegate it, defer it, or do it. So take all those items, do one at a time, whether it was I need to go grocery shopping, I need to make a shopping list, I need to, meal prep, right? And take a look at it. And the way you're going to make the decision is if you can do it within 2 minutes, just do it. Just kind of like we discussed. Just take care of it. Is it an actionable item? So we'll take a step back here. Look at it and see if it's an actionable item. All right? If it's not actionable, then ask yourself why. Is this something that somebody else needs to do? Or is this something that maybe was just on your mind and you want it to be like a reference? So maybe you just wanted to remember stats or parts of a book that you highlighted. Put that into a reference section, all right? And what that really means is make a wiki page, create a list, whether in a notebook, online using like Google Keep, Tasks, Docs, anything, and start making yourself like a reference. So that way you don't have to constantly think about, man, I really want to remember this. Just write it down so that way it's retrievable, because your brain, again, does not work that way to remember everything you come across. So, if it's a reference piece, just write it down into a document and be done, and now you've got it forever, okay? If it's actionable, use a 2-minute rule, do it. Now, if it's not actionable, the question is you gotta ask why not. If it's not a reference material, and it has nothing to do with your goals, then trash it. Don't do it, don't ever bring it up. The key thing with the process is once it goes through this cycle that we're doing, you are not to bring it back into the cycle. It is never coming back to the inbox. So once you make your decisions on it, you're done. That's it. You're going to trust your brain. You're going to trust all of this process of getting things done. Because you're going to write it, and you're either going to do it right then and there and it's done. You're going to write it down so you don't forget about it. Or you're going to delegate it to somebody else. So you got to so after you've taken that or made the decision that it's an action, the next question is this something for me to do? Is this something that I can ask somebody else to do? Is this something that I need to take care of? If not, then delegate it. If it is, and maybe it's time sensitive, then this is where you're going to defer it. This is where you're going to use something like put it in queue for your next action when you have time, because you know it's not within the 2-minute realm. You need to do it, but it's going to take a little bit longer. You need to allocate time. So this is where you put it in your next action queue. If it's a time sensitive thing, just put it in a Google reminder or any reminder, right? Or put it on a calendar so you don't have to remember this. Okay? It's that simple. There's nothing difficult about any of this. The key thing is do not bring it back in. Do not put the task, action item reference back into the process. The whole point of this is so that way you can be truly like stress-free, relaxed, and as soon as you get ideas, you can just start writing them down. As soon as you start thinking about, oh, I forgot I needed to do this, put it in your inbox. You're in processing. And what you're going to do is, you've already done the mass capture. Then what you're going to do is every morning, it takes like 5 minutes. You're going to run through maybe some of the things that you captured the day before, and it took longer than 2 minutes, and you're going to kind of prioritize and say, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do today? And take action on those. Plan your time to take action on some of these tasks. Maybe say, okay, every day I'm going to do my brain thinking items, I've got to take action things, I want to be successful. So allocate yourself time to do this. But it only takes 5 minutes to organize and get this whole thing done. I mean, probably even less once you get the process down, all right? And so this is the actual process of how do you determine what to do. You do it right then and there, 2 minutes. If it's not actionable, write it down in reference. If it is actionable and it takes longer than 2 minutes, then ask, am I the right person to do this, or can I delegate? And if not delegate, then defer it to put it into queue to take action on it. If it's time sensitive, meaning it has to wait till a certain date, then put it in a calendar to automatically remind you, so you don't have to think about this stuff anymore. All right? The goal here is to prevent this huge loop of constantly trying to remember the same thing. There is such a thing as decision fatigue. Take a look at it. It was pretty interesting. So, all right. Without further ado, take that insight and charge into action.